At the story's start, it shows a convoy in a car fleeing the city during an emergency. While driving on the highway, we learned from the DDIO that a pandemic or wabah has hit the world, causing many people to strangely turn into zombies. These zombies are much more dangerous than before. They don't die, and after becoming zombies, humans become a combination of a body and a zombie. Many other people were also trying to escape the pandemic. Suddenly, while driving, they saw a sudden bright light, after which their car had an accident, and we saw that when Ethan regained consciousness, he was not in the car that had the accident, but was at the scene with his driver, who was very confused. He got out of the car and looked around, realizing that the world was completely devastated. When Ethan had the accident, the pandemic was still ongoing, meaning a lot of time had passed since the accident. He didn't know what happened to him during that time. He was out here trying to find his wife. Suddenly, a spirit appeared in front of him and pointed a gun at him before killing Ethan by shooting him from behind. The woman who saved Ethan approached the spirit and slapped and knocked it out. After that, she came to Ethan and introduced herself, asking him why he was there. Ethan replied that he was searching for his wife, who was with him during the accident, but now he didn't know where she had gone. The woman asked Ethan to help her, intending to take the unconscious spirit with her. Before putting the injured spirit in a truck, Ethan himself passed out. When he regained consciousness, he saw that he was lying on a bed. It was the same woman who had brought him to her house in her truck. When he came downstairs, he saw that the woman was preparing a meal for him. The woman also asked him some questions, inquiring where he had come from. Ethan replied that he didn't remember much. All he knew was that he was going to a lakeside site with his wife when they had an accident, and now he was here at the woman's house. Many newspapers associated with the woman's house had learned that the world had been destroyed due to the pandemic, and many years had passed since the pandemic. She was shocked to hear this because it seemed like it had happened yesterday, and she didn't know where her wife had gone during all this time. I stood behind Ethan and told him that all of this had happened many years ago. According to scientists, all of this was being done naturally so that all humans would die and the world could be rebalanced. During these conversations, the lights went out. Before checking the solar system outside, she told Ethan not to touch anything and to stay out, but he didn't heed her words and went outside to look. There was a small room ahead, outside of which floated a boat tangled in spider webs. Seeing this, he became scared and asked the woman at the table, "What is this?" The woman replied that it was artificial and told him not to pay attention to it. It was only hung here for protection. While talking about all this, she was still checking her solar system. When he couldn't understand the problem, Ethan helped her. After that, the two went to check the number trap, where the final hunt was set for them. After having dinner, she thanked Ethan very much but said she had to go because she needed to find her wife. However, she told him to wait because she would go with him early the next morning to search for his wife. Ethan agreed because he didn't want to stay idle here, so he rode a bicycle to her house and also generated power and electricity. After that, the woman went to sleep, but Ethan couldn't sleep yet as it was still early morning. In the middle of the night, he took his own vehicle to look for his wife. He didn't fully remember the things before the accident, except that before the pandemic, both of them were going to Candle Lake until late, where their house was located. Finally, Ethan reached there but couldn't enter his house because it was locked from the inside. He started shouting loudly, but when no one answered from inside, he had to break the windows to get in. Someone was inside, but it wasn't Emma. Whoever was there started questioning Ethan about Emma, but the woman said she didn't know any Emma and had been living alone here with her son for many years. While they were talking, they started hearing heavy footsteps behind them. Turning around in surprise, they saw a massive skeleton that looked more menacing than a human. It started trying to enter their house, but quick, the girl came, forcefully closed the house door, but that skeleton, which is also a zombie, actually attacked her through Ethan's broken window. To save her, Ethan picked up a nearby hammer and struck the zombie's head repeatedly, causing the zombie to retreat and the woman to survive. After a while, when Ethan looked outside the door, he was surprised to see that the skeleton was still there. The woman then explained that these plant-like stumps never die. Anyway, they had managed to get rid of the zombie. Now Ethan and the girl had some conversations, and then she said to Ethan, "I'll guard the house for now so that no one invades here." Agreeing to her, Ethan fell asleep. But in the morning when he woke up, his entire body was covered in blood. When he looked back, the woman and the child in the house were lying dead downstairs, as if someone had brutally mutilated them. Frightened, Ethan went outside and saw a zombie-type creature attacking a child. As soon as Ethan approached it, the zombie lunged at him, but it didn't want to eat him. It was trying to say something but couldn't speak properly. Suddenly, the sound of a gunshot startled them both, and the zombie standing before Ethan was shot down. We realized that I had come here to save Ethan. Before leaving, a bird box appeared here with his wife's tattoo on it. He quickly opened the bird box to find a cell phone whose battery was about to die. The mobile belonged to his wife. It had a video where his wife was saying, "Ethan, you have developed a disease of forgetfulness, and I don't know how long I can stay with you with this disease." In the video, Ethan was lying right behind her. Before he could finish watching the video, the mobile shut down, and Ethan started getting angry. At this point, I approached him, took control and said, "Come with me home. My home has a charger. You can charge this mobile." But now, Ethan didn't remember me either, whom he had met just yesterday. I reassured him about myself and took him outside to bring him. Upon arriving, Ethan didn't see the truck he had come with last night. Ethan suggested, "Why don't we leave from here with this truck?" I replied, "Some idiot must have drained its battery overnight. Now the battery is dead, so we can't take this truck either." Thankfully, their luck was good, as near this house, they found a small bicycle, which I started to ride. Along the way, they saw many zombies that looked quite dangerous. I asked, "Are you married?" Struggling, I replied, "No, he died on the way." Then they arrived at a gas station where Ethan stopped. This was the same gas station that always came to his mind daily. Suddenly, he began to remember that when the pandemic started, these people had stopped near this gas station and had encountered a zombie here. It was a zombie that Emma couldn't fight off to save her wife, so the zombie attacked Ethan himself. After that, he couldn't remember anything else. Anyway, I reached my home, and as I arrived, I told Ethan to stay quiet because someone near my home was getting suspicious. Approaching whoever it was, I took him to a gunpoint, and then the spirit said, "I am innocent. I'm just looking for my wife. At this time, I am very hungry, and for food, I can help you with anything." Before believing this, I took that man to the police and had him checked and seized all his belongings. While inside, I was watching over him, cooked food for him, and we saw that the man, deceiving Ethan, went to his car, hid near it, and brought another gun. Before entering the house, I gave both of them juice and then called them to dine. Before eating, he had warned Ethan not to eat the food and to make an excuse at the table that he was not hungry. Ethan didn't know why I was telling him this. At the dining table, we saw that Ethan started feeling dizzy and faint. As soon as he tried to get up and move forward, he fainted. When I came close to check on him, he tricked me within seconds and took my bag. He started threatening me, but I remained calm as if his threats didn't affect me at all. Even when this man shot him again, I stayed completely calm because I knew that this man couldn't do much. He had mixed a sleeping drug in the food, which caused Ethan to become unconscious within moments. After that, I took Ethan to his room, and when he regained consciousness, he was feeling quite well. As he started going downstairs to take care of him, Ethan started to feel extremely feverish and unwell, and somehow I freed myself and took Ethan to the shed room. Ethan was distressed, and at that time I told him nothing would happen. You would forget everything by morning, and as he said, that's exactly what happened. Upon waking up in the morning, Ethan couldn't remember anything, and I told him, "Let's go hunting because the food at home was running out." We quietly began to follow Ethan, and while walking, seeing the house where Matba was staying, a strange memory came to him. He remembered that he, Emma, his wife, had come to this house together, where they also met the owner, a priest who knew that the pandemic caused by Waba was spread by the guards so that humans would learn a lesson. But Emma, Ethan's wife, was a doctor and thus believed it was caused by a special virus. Recalling these memories, Ethan also remembered that the plaster on his hand always had Emma written by the tailor, but today, Emma was written in green color on his plaster, and thinking about it, his mind started to deteriorate, thinking surely she was playing some trick on him. Therefore, to control everything, she had a gun pointed at me, but I didn't get upset about all this. When Ethan asked her why the color today was green and what she was doing with him, I calmly replied that the plaster had dried naturally, meaning it was clear that repeatedly writing Emma on his hand, he had made his own heart, he had destroyed everything. At this time, she told Ethan the truth that you are not Cinta, you are dead. Actually, at the gas station, a zombie had bitten you, so you got infected. Upon hearing this, Ethan became interested and opened his plaster where he saw many small plants on his hand, clearly meaning I was telling the truth. I told him that I had always kept you as human and only fed humans so that you wouldn't completely turn into a zombie. Their attacks were shown in the past when they came to this house and met the priest, who then began to suspect that Ethan was not human because no spectral signs were emanating from him. He wasn't acting like a human, and Emma was hiding this. Suddenly, sitting amidst all this, Ethan started to get dizzy, and Haima took him to the first room where she started to act strangely. She said to Ethan to control himself that she would arrange something for him and came downstairs. Downstairs, Emma told the family that actually Ethan's condition was not good, he would come in a while. Hearing this, the priest's suspicion was confirmed that Ethan was indeed human. He now wanted to ask Emma some questions, so he sent his wife and daughter away from here. The one who was going upstairs started making strange noises from the bathroom, and when they opened the bathroom, Ethan was in an extremely bad condition. Upon seeing these two, he attacked them. Hearing the sounds of his wife screaming, Vistu tried to save them and was about to leave, so Shuri, who was nearby, suddenly grabbed a spear and attacked him, stabbing him in the stomach before he could say anything to Emma. Emma took something from her pocket and killed him too. It was shown that Ethan had also killed his wife and daughter. The scene cuts and returns to the priest, where Ethan realizes that the old lady named Me, standing before him, was actually his wife Emma, who had turned evil, and she still looked young because she had turned into a zombie. She had fulfilled her promise till today and kept confessing. She had taken many lives for him, and because they had amnesia, upon aging, Ethan stopped recognizing Emma. Therefore, Emma introduced herself by saying Me. After learning all this, tears started flowing from Ethan's eyes, and now he tells through emos that he is tired of all these things and wants to stay with her as her. Unable to see his wife Emma turning into a zombie in ongoing sorrow, he shoots himself, but as we know zombies do not die, so he became Cinder again. After becoming Cinder, he started getting confused again, meaning Ethan was now at a stage where he had completely turned into a zombie, and at this time, if he didn't feed on any humans, he wouldn't stay human. At this stage, Emma didn't bring any prey for him, but kept herself before him. Ethan tore her apart and ate her, which caused him much pain, but after a while, it was shown that she also turned into a zombie and became Cinder. Actually, she now wanted to stay with Ethan as a zombie so that she wouldn't have to hunt any humans. Her wish was fulfilled. Now, both of them were to spend the rest of their lives as zombies together, and just showing the end, the story ended.